Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Make sure to smash that like button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Alright, let's talk about Errol Spence and his situation in the welterweight division. He's the unified champion, WBC IBF welterweight champion. There's another champion now who was promoted as of now in Yordenis Ugas. Now, of course, people on the PBC side or fans of the PBC are pushing for a Spence Ugas fight, since a Crawford Spence fight seems so far-fetched and out of reality. For whatever reason, whatever side you want to believe, Aram thinks Spence doesn't want to take the fight. He says that he knows that Crawford would stop him or would beat him. The issue is the split. Still the issue. Crawford doesn't want to take 40. He feels he's accomplished more in Spence. He's higher on the pound-for-pound list. He has an argument, but in terms of numbers, who's putting in more work, who has better numbers in the box office, that's Spence. So maybe he does deserve a lion's share. But at the same time, they have to come to an agreement. They have to at least negotiate terms, and they haven't even done that. So there's Ugas, who's been promoted after the WBA stripped Manny of his status, which was very unfortunate and pretty much unbelievable, since they allowed Keith Thurman to do the same shit and they never stripped him. Leo Santa Cruz hasn't made a defense of his featherweight Super WBA title in pretty much the same time frame. They haven't stripped him. So perhaps, I don't know what's the deal behind that situation, why the WBA did what they did, since Manny was about to announce a fight sometime this year. Of course, it wasn't against an opponent that's rated by the WBA and Conor McGregor. The Ryan Garcia fight, I don't believe is happening, so that's old news. That fight, I don't believe it will happen. But it's just crazy that WBA would push to strip Manny as quickly when they haven't done so in the past with other WBA champions. I mean, Manuel Charr, for example, 4 years that guy didn't fight, still had a portion of the WBA title. It's just ridiculous. Quick to strip Manny though, so I don't even know if Manny's with PBC anymore. That's the problem. Is he with PBC? Doesn't seem like he is. He has a new management company. Some guy that McGregor deals with. Don't know too much about him. But the problem with an Ugas fight is that it's not a marquee fight. I know PBC fans are pushing for the fight. They want to see the fight since it's a unification fight, but it's not a big fight. It's not a marquee fight. And like Bob Arum said, it's a who cares fight. And it's a fight that Heyman is going to take an L on. I mean, he'd be crazy to put that fight on pay-per-view. That fight does nothing on pay-per-view. And that's the only way that fight's going to happen. Because Showtime is not going to put up the type of license fee to be able to make that fight happen. It's too expensive of a fight, considering what the number Spence is doing, the purses that he's making. And Ugas is going to want to get paid, since he has a portion of the welterweight title too. So how do you make this fight? It's not a pay-per-view fight. Fox can't afford it. Showtime can't afford it. It's too expensive. The only way this fight happens is if Spence agrees to take a pay cut. But I don't see that happening. And Ugas is going to want to get paid too for taking this type of fight, a unification fight. So I don't see this fight happening next for Spence. The economics are just not there. The fight does nothing on pay-per-view, and it's just another L for Al Heyman if he puts this fight on pay-per-view, which is the only way he can make this fight happen. So what's the alternative? Manny Pacquiao has appealed the decision WBA. I mean, could that mean we're closer to a Spence-Pacquiao fight? I really don't know. If you looked at Pacquiao's last interview, he mentioned Crawford's name first. So maybe he's considering fighting one of these two guys, since that's the biggest money opportunity at the current time. since the McGregor fight got derailed, and the Ryan Garcia fight is not going to happen. Golden Boy already said it ain't going to happen. So this is an interesting situation. What's going to go down? Who is Spence going to fight next? If it's not Manny Pacquiao, if it's not Crawford, the Ugas fights, it's not a marquee fight. So I don't see that fight happening because it'd be crazy for him to put that fight on pay-per-view. Just, it ain't gonna do no business. So I could see a scenario where Gilberto Mendoza, the president of the WBA, reinstates Manny's status because it's just for the betterment of the sport. And if Manny promises to fight one of these two guys, perhaps that will be the mediation for Gilberto to reinstate Manny as WBA super champion, because Spence Manny is a big fight. Crawford Manny is a big fight. Ugas, I'm sorry, not a bad fighter, even though he lost to a young master a long time ago, of course. But I mean, he's improved, yeah, but he is what he is. He's not a marquee fight. So I can see a couple scenarios where Manny gets reinstated if he promises to fight one of these guys, or Keith Thurman jumps into the picture and fights Ugas and has an opportunity to regain his strap, and that would set up a possible unification between Thurman and Spence. That's a much bigger fight. It's not $1 million pay-per-view fight, $1 million buy pay-per-view fight, but it's a way bigger fight than a Ugas fight. And that's a fight where Heyman won't take an L as much as he would with a Ugas unification against Spence. So I can see two scenarios playing out. Manny gets reinstated if he promises to fight one of these guys, or Thurman being matched against Ugas if he's ready to fight a top welterweight, or he's looking for a get-back fight. But according to his interviews, his live streams, his energy, it seems like he's ready for a top fight coming off the big layoff. And it'll be an interesting fight against Ugas. But who knows if that even can happen, since Thurman still thinks he's champion, still thinks he's undefeated, and he still thinks he's worth top dollar coming off a loss and inactivity that he is. So, interesting situation. Let's see what happens next with both of these guys. Perhaps they finally get the fight of their dreams in fighting Manny Pacquiao, because I have no idea what Manny's going to do next, man. I have no clue. So many rumors. He's trying to get reinstated. Perhaps he's trying to gun for one of these big welterweight dogs, and I hope he does, man. I still think he could beat. I'm very confident he can beat one of these guys. The Crawford fight, it's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. The Spence fight, to me, is a more winnable fight for Manny. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. But that'll be crazy if the WBA reverses their decision. They shouldn't have made that decision in the first place. It was retarded, man. They didn't freaking show Pacquiao the same treatment that they showed Thurman, that they showed Leo Santa Cruz, that they showed Manuel Char. But they're gonna be quick to strip him, even though he's coming off, the canceled fight in 2020, not his fault, out of his control, and he was trying to schedule a fight for the first quarter of this year. So let's see how this plays out, and we'll see who both of these guys fight next. We'll see who Manny fights next, and we'll see if who Ugas fights next, and how he's affected over the course of these events. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.